have with me a very familiar face and of course a very familiar voice that we've been hearing for the last 2 days. In fact, he's the man who's responsible for selling those players for exorbitant amounts. Mr. Richard Madley, the auctioneer for IPL ever since it started. Well, how's the throat?
The voice is on the way out. I've got to say, it's been a long game, a 2-day game. We played over 5 or 6 sessions. I think tomorrow morning I might be waking up and saying very little. But it kept going throughout the auction, and it's a bit like batting. Once you get yourself in, you can't stop. And I decided, despite the throat at lunchtime today, just keep going. The end is in sight, and we did keep going. We kept a good pace. We got some great prices, and I think that the franchise holders were pretty happy. I hope the fans will be.
Well, of course, Chris Gayle went unsold in the initial auctioning, and then after that also. But the third time, it seemed as if you were more relieved than perhaps even Chris Gayle wouldn't have been that relieved when he was sold in the end.
Well, I was delighted that he did find a buyer, because he's been such a great stalwart of the IPL right from the very beginning. I mean, he is an IPL often overused term, but he's a legend, and I'm sure there's still some gas in the tank left for him now, and it could just turn out that he turns out to be the best buy of the 11th auction. And there was a round of applause. Did you hear that? You never see that in an auction room. Literally the fans were cheering, all congratulating the Kings 11 Punjab on making that bid, which could be a game changer for them.
And who's got the best squad on paper? You've been selling.
Who's got the best
squad, at least on paper? We'll get to know who's got on the field.
Well, yeah, that's a very good question. Behind me there are screens that show the composition of the squads. It shows the rights to match. It shows how many players can be sold. It shows what's left in the kitty. I don't see any of that. My focus is on that one player who comes out of the velvet bag, whose name is written on one of these. And that's my focus and attention. And he will get my attention. I have put to one side who bought Chris Gayle or who bought Ben Stokes. I'm focusing on this person here.
And this person went unsold?
Well, alas, obviously, if I've got the bail in my pocket, he has to be unsold, because remember, the successful purchasers keep the bails on their table. So this is just my souvenir of the IPL 2018 auction.
All right, and Indians didn't do too badly either, because Jaydev Unadkat, the left arm paceman, fetched 11.5 crores.
Now, I've noticed a change in the bidding patterns over the years, and this year especially. There's a real focus on Indian homegrown talent, especially youngsters, young fast bowlers, young batsmen. And some of the overseas players now are not being picked up and being bought on reputation. And I think that's a good thing. And it's great that there are some surprises, and that was indeed one of the great surprises of the auction. And that's what makes the auction process so special. Nobody knows if a player is going to sell, be unsold, make a fortune, or walk away disappointed.
Well, you are an Englishman, but surprisingly, not a lot of England players, including their captain, T20 and Test and ODI captain Joe Root and Eoin Morgan, went unsold. Perhaps maybe the franchisees thought that their base price was too much, or maybe they were not their availability.
I mean, their base prices were relatively conservative. I don't think it was a matter about base price. Availability has always been the key with England players over the years. And really, if you look apart from Ben Stokes in 2017, it's really only Kevin Peterson who has been successful within the league. And the players like Joe Root, who are successful 5-day test captains, actually haven't played that much T20, so I wasn't surprised at all that he failed to sell.
And of course, the reach of IPL is expanding. Last year we saw Afghanistan. This year again another country has been added, that is Nepal.
Oh, I'd love that. Yes.
15-year-old guy.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I think he's been bought on a few videos, but isn't that fantastic to see the growth of cricket? And that got the second highest applause in the room that day. I think he went to Delhi. Am I right in thinking to Delhi?
Yeah.
Delhi picked him up, and the crowd applauded. So it was good. It was good for Delhi. It was good for cricket, and life-changing for that young man from Nepal.
And how exhaustive was it? And secondly, that accelerated process where the franchisees had put in their request. You think that can be avoided because still they didn't bid for him for that single for the particular player.
Yeah, we've looked and discussed the accelerated process now for a number of years. I think the overriding factor is we've got to be fair to those players. We have to give them the best chance of selling in the auction. And although it's not an attractive or photogenic process, it is a fair process, and it does give every player the chance, the outside chance of playing in the IPL, and ultimately that is the purpose of the auction. So it might add on an hour or two and it doesn't look that attractive, but I think to the players we are giving them their best chance.
And what's next on the Hammerman, Mr. Richard Madley's plate?
Well, I'd like to spend more time in India. I've got a following over here. I meet a lot of people, so I'm looking to spend more time in India. I'm looking to come back perhaps during the tournament itself and meet some of the fans, because most of them want to meet me, but they actually want to see this. This is pure gold, the IPL gavel. And today I must have given 50 different selfies for people. They want to hold this, and I thought I'd come here, come to some matches, meet some fans and let them hold the golden gavel.
Well, will you give me the opportunity to hold it?
Of course, there you go.
That's the hammer or the golden gavel that...
The golden gavel. This has been used in every single IPL auction from IPL 1.
Same one.
Same one. You're probably thinking, oh, it's a bit light, it's a bit worn, but it's a bit like having a great cricket bat that you like or a pair of boots, and I've got used to this.
So this is what decides the fate of the players, the amount for which they are sold, and even some of them, some of the players who don't even get sold in the IPL. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Madley. I think this suits you. You keep it with yourself, and congratulations for a job well done.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. I look forward to coming back next year.
All right. Thank you very much.